In this lesson, we're going to learn how to create a web banner. We're going to be looking at banners just like this. So you'll notice this web banner here. If I refresh the page, we have a web banner at the top right here, and this one is static. And then we also have a web banner at the bottom, which is dynamic, which you see some animation here at the bottom. And what we have is we have a 720 by 90 web banner. And that's a standard size. Another standard size is 1000 wide by 90. So these web banners have a couple of things. They have a logo, they have some sort of deal, they might have a graphic or a product, and then they have a link. And when you click on the link, it goes out to the website. You'll notice the Google Pixel here. This has actually got a video. So what we see is we see a video happening in the banner ad. You'll see it right here. You'll have a little video of the phone. It might be a GIF file. It might be something. But we're actually going to be creating two banners, one static and then one with video. So these are the banners. I'm going to just close this out. And now we're going to go into Photoshop. And we're going to do File, New. And once we get in here, we're going to be making a new banner. Now, banners are going to be 72 ppi, RGB color. We can start with a white or a transparent background. And we can make them 720 by 90 or 1000 by 90. We're going to make this 1000 by 90. So 1000 by 90, and then we're going to hit Create. And when we do that, we're going to see a artboard that's here, and it's 1000 pixels by 90 wide. And what this is going to allow us to do is create a web banner in here, and we're going to do that using the video timeline. So if you don't have the timeline up, you're going to go to Window, Timeline, and that's going to show the video timeline. So I'll go in, I'll toggle it on, I'll toggle it off, and now here's the video timeline. And what we want to do is we want to bring in objects just like making any other motion project in Photoshop, and we want to put these elements in here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to import in an image. So the first thing we'll do is we'll make a static banner. We're going to go File, and we're going to just place Embedded. And when we do that, we're going to go out to a folder on the desktop that I've created called Bronx Zoo Banners. And in that folder, we've got a logo, we've got a couple of preview videos that we can use later on, and we also have some still images. So I'm going to bring in the still images, and first thing I'll do is I'll bring in this this tiger image, and I'll hit Place. And now when I do that, you'll see the image comes in right to the boundaries. We can do a few things here. We can leave this image as it is and have these kind of slide in and out, or we could scale this image up and make it more prominent. So that's a couple of things we can do. I'm going to leave it the way it is, and I'm just going to hit Enter, and now I've got this first image in. Then I'm going to bring in another image. Place Embedded. I'll bring in this wolf. We'll hit Place. And now we've got two images. I'll hit Return. And again, each one of these is on its own layer. I can show and hide. I can move it. And now I'm going to bring in another still image. I'll bring in the rhinoceros, place that in here, and I'll move it over, and you'll notice that it fits in nicely. We hit Return. Now we have three images. What we're going to do is we're going to have these images just come in, and then the logo is going to come in on the side. And we're going to then just put the word Visit with a link, and then we're going to link that up to the Bronx Zoo website. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create video timeline. And once I do that, each one of my layers is going to be put out into the timeline. And you'll notice that when I drop down the artboard, you'll see all three of the layers. So what I can do is I can go into each layer and I can just name them so that they will be descriptive. And once I do that, they'll automatically update on my timeline. So I'm going to go rhino, wolf, and then tiger. And now you'll see them updated, and you'll notice they're all on the timeline. If I move this playback head to go through, nothing's happening. There's no movement. You can see that we're at 5 seconds. And banners usually are not too long. They're relatively short because they have to maintain a certain physical size. Otherwise, they won't be accepted by the advertiser. So we're just going to leave this right now at 5 seconds. We'll probably make this around 12 seconds or so, 15 seconds. So what we're going to do is we are going to, if we go like this, we can stagger this. If you go down to the bottom here, you have this little view, and you can make the timeline smaller. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on and we're going to take each image and we're just going to stack the images right at the end. Okay. And now what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to stagger these and then have them move in motion. So we're going to take the rhino and we're going to leave it there, and then we're going to just stagger the wolf and then stagger the tiger. So this technique right now, what this will do is if we play, you'll see the rhino stays on the screen for 5 seconds. And then the wolf for 5 seconds, and then the tiger for 5 seconds. So what we've done is we've stacked, and this is fine. What we're going to do now is we're going to get these things to move. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we are going to go back here. I can show or hide these other layers, so I'm going to hide the wolf, hide the tiger, and I'm going to work with the rhino right now. When I go into the rhino track here in the timeline, we see transform, opacity, style. So we're going to be using that transform. And what we're going to do is we're going to have the rhino start here, and we click on the little transform clock. And then if we move the playback head to, say, 4 seconds, what we can do then is take the rhino and move the rhino to another position, and what you'll see is an automatic keyframe gets created. And when we do that, we've created motion, and then the rhino will just sit for the rest. Okay, so we create some motion at 4 seconds. And now what we can do is we can do the same thing for our wolf. And we go down to the wolf. We're going to show that layer. We're going to back the wolf up right to the edge. And then when we drop this down, we can then click on transform. We're automatically going to get our first keyframe. And then what we want to do is we're going to move this. So we're at 5. We're going to go to 9, 4 seconds. Keep these consistent. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the wolf to a position right here on the timeline. Now you'll notice I can't see the rhino, so for me to just keep the rhino, I can just extend that out so that when my wolf is in position, I can have this butt up. I can have this be separate, wherever I want to place it. So we'll just have it butt up against here. And now what we have when we hit play is we have the rhino going. And then you'll see it stay. And then the wolf will move. So you'll notice this is slow. We can speed this up a couple of ways. Okay. The easiest way to speed this up is to just move the keyframe in. So rather than it taking 4 seconds to do that move, let's see what happens when it takes 2 seconds. And now you'll see it moving over. So if we wanted it to be quicker, we would just move these keyframes closer. So now let's make it go quick. We're right at 12 seconds. 12 frames, excuse me. So you'll notice how that moves quick. Okay? And now we can position the wolf. We can position the wolf just by clicking on it. And now I can move the wolf and have it follow the rhino quickly. So just about a second and change. And again, those don't have to be exactly the same. And now you'll see the rhino come, and now the wolf will come. And now we've got these two moved in. We can extend out the wolf so that it's at the same time. And now we can bring in the tiger. And depending on what we want to do, we can move the tiger in and now have the tiger come. And we're going to show the tiger. There it is. We're going to move it to the edge. And now we simply are going to drop this down. I'm going to just close these up just to make it a little bit easier. I'll just show the wolf just so we can see the keyframes here. And I'm going to hit transform. Automatically makes the keyframe. And now I'm not going to make it and move it. I'm just going to go here and then move the tiger. And we will see a keyframe be created. And now if we pull the tiger out all the way to the end, we have the rhino, the wolf, the tiger. And when we hit play, we have these three coming in. And now, as these stay, we can have another object come in. Right here, we can have text. We can have anything else right in this area. And then we can add a link. So let's now go in and add the logo and have the logo come in and do the same thing. So let's go to File, Place Embedded. I'm going to use the Bronx Zoo logo. I'm going to hit Place. We see it come in. Now it's got a white background. We're using a white background. If we went in and we wanted to add another background to this, we can add a new layer to this background and change this up a little bit. But we're just going to leave it for now. And we're just going to make this move. And the way we do that is we're going to take the logo. We're going to drag it to the bottom so that it's at the top. You can leave it right there. And now you'll notice that if we just leave it at the end, it won't come in until the very end. So these come in, and now we see the logo come in. Now, if we want the logo to move, we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to drop it down. We're going to hit transform. Oh, we don't want to do it there. We want to do it where this playback head is. So we start here. We hit transform. And it puts a keyframe right at the beginning. And then we simply move the playback head a little bit. And then we move the logo to where we want it to go. And now we've got the animals coming in. And you'll notice the timing here, it takes a little bit. So we can lower that down. We can change that out. And now the logo comes in. Okay. And then from there, we can add one more layer with text. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to the text tool, click on it, and I'm just going to close these. And now we're going to click, and we're going to have a layer with text. Now the text is white. I'm going to change the color of it. I'm going to just grab this kind of tan from the imagery, pulling a color right out of the rhino here. Click OK. And now visit the greatest right here. And you'll see it pop in. So what we're going to do is now we're just going to add another piece of text for people to go and visit. So we're going to click on the text tool. We're going to click here, and we're just going to type the word go and put a little arrow there. And then we're going to take this and we're going to put it right here. Now we can do a couple of things with this. We can move this here and then take the go, drop it right here in the middle, and we can put a box around it if we wanted to. So what we're going to do is now add a box to this. I'm going to go over to the shape tool. I'm going to grab a rounded rectangle, and I'm going to go ahead and just make a rounded rectangle over this. And you'll see it comes in as black. That's fine. I'm going to put the text on top, and we can highlight, change this text, and just go and let's make this text white. And we can reposition this. If we get in close, we're going to be able to move this. And now what we have is we have the button, which is just going to show up with the text. And you notice that it's here. We have to click both of these, and now we'll move them back into the piece. So we're at about 10 seconds or so with this. Now we can make this shorter so that it meets up with the text. And again, if we wanted to do something with the text, we can have the text come in. We can add some sort of style to the text. So if I get on the text here, I'm going to go to the effects, and I'm just going to do a drop shadow on the text. Let me just do this so we can see what it looks like. And we're just going to go into a drop shadow. That's going to add that little drop shadow there. I'm going to make sure that the distance isn't too much. And now we're going to click OK. And we've got our banner kind of ready to go. We're going to move across, logo, and then that stuff is going to come in. If we wanted the text to actually move, we can again go to the beginning of the text. We can hit the transform button. We can move right here. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to go here, hit the transform button again to make another keyframe, but then we're going to go back to this first keyframe. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the text and we're going to drag it off the page. So what happens now is that we're going to get this to move and come on to the page. So you'll see it come here, come onto the page. The last step in creating the banner is to add the link to the button. So to do that, we're going to go down to the bottom of the toolbar in Photoshop, and you're going to want to get your tools. You need the slice tool. So if you don't have the slice tool, you need to go into the customize toolbar, find the slice tool, and then add it in. You'll see it down here at the bottom. Mine's already here, but I'm just going to add the slice tool in. I'm just going to put it right below the selection tools, and we've got the slice and the slice select. Those are the tool that you want, the two tools that you want to use right there, the slice and the slice select. Once I do that, I'm going to hit done, and now those are actually going to be in my toolbar right here where I place them in so that I can use them. So what I'm going to do to slice this is I'm going to click on the slice tool, and I'm going to go over and I'm going to just drag a box right on top of this go. And what that's doing is it's creating a button. Now, what normally we do is we just expand this out and we can just put this across the whole thing, because ultimately wherever anybody clicks on the banner, we want it to work. But if you had different hotspots, you can do that. But I'm just going to drag it all the way across. And now what we've done is we've got a hotspot. And if we go down and we go to the slice select tool, what we can do then is simply double click on that little slice button, and we're going to get slice options. And what we can do is we can put in a URL right here, and I'm going to go right out. To bronxzoo.com. Just make sure that's it. And now I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it in right here to the URL. Now the target will open up in a new window or the same window. We can leave that. We can leave everything else here. And now we're going to click OK. So what we've done is we've sliced this and we've added a hotspot to it. The final element is going to be to export it for web. So we're going to go to Export, Save for Web. So as we have this open here in the Save for Web dialog box, we're going to go in and we've got to just do a couple of things here. First thing is we have to make sure that it's set to a GIF file so that we get the motion. The next thing that we're going to do is we are going to go down to where it says looping, and we're going to go to once. Otherwise, it'll keep playing over and over again. We want it to go once and then stop. And then once we do that, we're all set. We're going to go to save, and it's going to give me the option to save it somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go out to my desktop. I'm going to make a new folder, and the reason I do this is because there's going to be a bunch of files and I want them to go in here. I'm just going to call it web banner, and now in that folder here are the settings. I want to output HTML and images, and then I just want to leave default settings in all slices. And what this is going to do is it's going to output an HTML file and then a slice, so that when we open that HTML file up in a browser, we'll be able to see if our link works. So let's hit save. Everything's output. I'm going to just go out to my desktop, and I'm going to go to my web banner folder, and here's the web banner folder. This is the HTML file, you'll see it, and then in here are the images, and when I hit this, it opens up in a browser, and now here is my banner, and you can see it working. Text come in, button, and now it goes out to the Bronx Zoo.